rejected from the United States of America, and the immigration officer who looked through my documentation, took a while to examine it, gave me back my passport and said, "Ma'am, welcome to the United States of America. I am sorry for what happened to you. You are safe now."
Holy smokes.
And that was the moment that I think changed me forever, and made me believe in our shared humanity. And that is the moment that inspired this story. And I hope my story, The Cat I Never Named, inspires Americans in the way that that moment empowered me.
Well, it is quite the book. Tell me a little bit about what the feedback you've been getting and receiving on the book so far.
The book has so far received, in terms of the sort of book critics world, has received 5-star reviews, which I understand is exceptional and rare, and I'm deeply grateful for that. But to me, the most important feedback that I'm getting is coming from average readers, moms, fathers, teens, who in many cases know nothing about Bosnia or what happened in my old country. They may have liked the cover, or someone else recommended the book. And typical comment that I get is, "I got your book, I started reading, and I thought I would read a couple of pages, and here I am, it's 3 in the morning, I finished the book, I can't stop crying, and I had to reach out." And those emails are often, or messages on social media are often deeply touching, because they remind me that there was a purpose to writing this story. And just yesterday, I heard from an American soldier who served in Bosnia, and he was deployed around the world, who reached out and said that he was so deeply moved that he cried in a way that he never did with any other story. And he only wished that he could have read my book before being deployed abroad as an American soldier.
Absolutely amazing. It is a fantastic, fantastic new book. Now, what do you want readers to take away from your writing of this book?
I hope people will be inspired to change what they can change in their lives at this very moment. I know that this is an extraordinary time that we're going through in the U.S. and in the world, with the pandemic, with the rise in hatred and social unrest, and people feeling that they can't even have conversations anymore. So my hope is that when readers read my book, they will forget that they are reading about a Bosnian Muslim, that they will begin to identify with my experiences and emotions, that they will be moved in a way that they will look at what it is that they can do in their daily lives to become a better version of themselves, better neighbors, better friends, better family members, better teachers, better students. And I think if we all can do a little bit of that, a self-improvement, we can become a more socially cohesive nation, which I know seems difficult to imagine for some people at this time.
It is a tremendous, tremendous book. We have got a great guest with us today. She joins us live. The Cat I Never Named. It is a tremendous, tremendous book. Now, talk to me about why you decided to write now and write with a young adult audience in mind, knowing that it would be read by teens and it would also need to be included in some of the disturbing scenes, things of that nature.
Well, I think storytelling is important in order for us to come together and get to know each other. I often find that in the context of education, in the context of interactions that I have, even students will come to me and say, "Well, I've never met anyone like you who has survived genocide or has a Muslim background." And so I think that storytelling is incredibly important, and I learned that the very first time when I was in the war as a teen, asked to be a teacher in the classroom. Many of my teachers were killed and injured, and I was asked to teach at the elementary school level and high school, even though I was a teen myself. And that was a moment when I realized that connecting the content that students were learning in the class to their lived experiences and to powerful emotional stories was important because it was inspirational to them. And so I do hope that this book is inspirational to teens and adults alike, that they will be inspired to make a difference in the world after reading this story.
Now, how do people find you on social media, websites, all these things?
I have to say I was not an active social media user before the pandemic, but I've learned that I have to do that if I want to interact with people out there. So they can find me on Twitter at Amra Sabic-El-Rayess, They can find me on Facebook and Instagram under my full name at Amra Sabic-El-Rayess, or they can simply go to my personal website, sabicelrayess.org. And if all that proves to be difficult, they can simply Google The Cat I Never Named as the title of the book, and they will find their way to me as the author.
We have got a great guest with us today. She joins us live here in our broadcast. Talk to us about how the understanding of the reality of the Bihac prior to the war help us stay vigilant as we try to create communities free of racism and violent conflict.
My hometown of Bihac was a diverse city, and I was a teen who loved volleyball, who was a complete math and physics nerd, who had great friends of different ethnic backgrounds, and I even started to fall in love with the boy when the war was about to start. So it may seem to American teens or Americans in general that when they see initially description of my book that this is a story that's perhaps related to a distant place and a distant time. But I think they will very quickly realize that I was very much a teen like anyone else is today in the United States. But then my life and my world really changed instantly, and it only changed because hatred dominated the narrative and defined really the events that took place in my country. So I think the lesson from my own experience growing up in a diverse city that overnight became besieged and really imprisoned me in a way as a Bosnian Muslim, which then led into constant bombing and starvation. There's a lesson for everyone in America that this is not something that we would ever want to occur here, but we need to be reminded that hatred is not exclusive to any one nation, any one person, and it happens here. It happens every day that many young people feel excluded and experience violence because of who they are.
Well, it is a tremendous, tremendous book. You've put a lot of time and effort into this. It is definitely something I would be proud of. So are you planning on a follow-up or anything at this point?
I am. I am working on a couple of ideas, and certainly one idea is continuing the story from The Cat I Never Named and really telling and sharing what my experience was like as a Bosnian Muslim, as a first-generation immigrant to this country, and particularly leading up to the experience and the events that unfolded on September 11th.
Well, the book is absolutely amazing. I appreciate you making time for us today. I guess before we let you go, where do you see this book going? Well, what are some of your goals for this book?
Well, my primary goal is for the book to inspire and to educate. I am a big believer in education. I will share one detail with you that in the midst of the war, when My father thought that the Serb military would execute us, and that was really the end for us as Serb military was approaching my neighborhood, and they were burning a hill right across where I had lived in my hometown of Bihac. My father said to me at that time, Amra, I may no longer be able to save you. We may all be killed, and you may be raped. But one thing that no one can take away from you if you survive this war is your education. So I hope that those who read this book will be inspired to self-educate and educate others after they read The Cat I Never Named.
Fantastic. Well, I appreciate you making time for us today. Thanks for coming on our program, and we will talk to you soon. Thank you, my friend.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
Appreciate it. There she goes, and we've got more coming up on the other side.